we're going to have a Q&A session. We'll now call our speakers back to the stage for Q&A. And please note that Mr. Charles Lake has already left for another urgent meeting appointments. And with regard to, if you are interested, if you have some questions with regard to the presentation from the Reconstruction Agency from Mr. Suematsu, Mr. Nakaishi from the Reconstruction Agency is coming and he's ready to respond to the questions. Okay. And when asking your questions, please state your name and affiliation as well as to whom you are addressing your questions. And an interpreter will translate your questions into Japanese and the response into English when necessary. Okay, we are starting the Q&A session. Please raise your hand if you have some questions. Is anyone? Okay. Please.
My name's Alice Labrie. I'm a former U.S. Department of State Foreign Service. I live here in Harlem, New York City. May I ask a question, please, with regard to public transit for your communities?
To who? To anyone. Okay. Public transport. Would you kindly repeat your questions?
I am curious to know what is your public transportation system beside the train? Like, do you have local buses that get people from one community to another? Alternatives to cars?
Okay.
Sure, you're asking about traffic system recovery condition now. For instance, of public railway and highway and public bus system, right? Okay. As general, inland in top area, the traffic system is recovered almost completely, but in tsunami area, just under construction about railway and also some highway still a little limited. And one more thing is some port, especially fishery port, is now under construction. But on the other hand, a bus system is already recovered because it's very flexible operating now. Is that a question? It's okay.
Okay. Is there any other question? Okay, please.
I'm Victoria with Paradise TV, and my question is Hiroaki. You mentioned several times that one of the strengths for developing for Japan is attracting more tourists, is the development of tourist sector. And I just wanted to ask you what are briefly the means or tools, strategy, marketing planning, what do you plan to do in terms of attracting more tourists to affected areas? Thank you.
The Tourist Bureau is now doing a campaign for attracting foreign tourists to Japan by inviting tourists from overseas or tourist agencies from overseas to Hope area. And I think there are a number of such professionals and also tourists are coming to the Hope area. And attracting tourism and also investment attraction is somewhat related to make the to appeal the Japanese attractiveness. So in our program, promoting tourism from overseas is very important.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, gentlemen.
Hi, I'm George Sorensen from FE Clean Energy Group, and we do renewable energy projects around the world. In the prefectures that are involved, that were involved with the earthquake, what zoning speed-ups or what facilitations do you have for project developers that might want to come in but really don't have a good idea of what the zoning and what the permit process would be? And then the second part of that question is, do you also interface with the government in Tokyo to try to speed up the process if a project is proposed?
Okay. Now, almost more than 12 areas set for special zone in both area. In each zone, they include tax incentive. That is a zero tax rate for first 5 years for newly established company, and also some R&D incentive tax. Also, some investment promotion tax here. Then the special zone include also some regulatory special treatment. That is shorten the procedure of some, for instance, usually the procedure have to expand half year, but we can reduce that time is to almost 1 month, such as that. Then anyway, the special zone includes tax incentive also or special treatment for regulatory. Then now each prefecture set special zone. For instance, medical special zone and also renewable special zone. They stress on some specific field. They try to get together the specific industry. And namely, we have material in the homepage, but I can't say the all special zones list.
Do you have an ombudsman office at the prefectural level that will actually help a foreign investor wend its way through the regulatory process?
Yes.
And also, do they coordinate with the federal government in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Or can they?
Yeah. We have some advisor in Tokyo and also each prefecture. So if you contact to us, we offer some advisor and provide information to support foreign investors. It's okay.
It's okay. Okay, thank you. And any other questions? So please.
My name is Takashi. I handle real estate and construction in New York. In response to the Tohoku nuclear reactors, they're shut down now, so you're probably looking for more power, like alternative power. So are there any specific favoritism toward any specific industry like geothermal? Are there any green sectors that the governors or the people in Japan specifically prefer over others?
Well, as for the renewable treatment, we have some explanation after this later.
Yes, the second half program, we are going to discuss about new energy and the possibility for energy in Japan. Okay. Please.
My name is Pamela Fuller, and I'm a tax attorney specializing in international transactions. A couple of you have mentioned the importance of M&A as being a very important shortcut to increasing FDI in Japan, a shortcut to, for example, greenfield investment. As you know, since 1990, Japan has greatly liberalized its M&A tax rules, beginning with the legalization of holding companies, redemptions, spin-offs, and in 2007, the adoption of the tax-deferred triangular merger provision. My question relates to Japanese government's commitment to further liberalizing its M&A tax rules. From the OECD's perspective, I can't speak on the part of OECD, but from the US perspective, much more work needs to be done, not just by the Japanese government, but by the attitudes of the corporate boards themselves and by the Japanese courts. I was wondering if you could comment on this, please.
Yes, we have changed our tax regime for M&A, and there is no discrimination against foreign or Japanese investment or M&A through, for example, triangular mergers and acquisitions. And in our program, the transparency of the judgment of the exceptional application of triangular merger is listed. And we have been discussing with the tax agency to make the procedure more transparent. So, so far, I discussed with the foreign business sample in Japan, and there is some question about the tax system, but at least there is no discrimination between Japanese and foreign companies in terms of M&A.
I was just wondering about the Japanese Supreme Court's decision in the Bulldog case, where they seem to equate, poison pills. Could you comment on that? Of course.
Yes, perhaps it is a decision of each Japanese company or stockholders. So it is a matter of market, I would say, whether they use such methods or not.
Excuse me, I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
My name is Mitch, and I am a business journalist with International Business On. The question I have is, when you spoke about Japan's sovereign debt, you said that the government would make use of its foreign assets, which it would sell if the need arises. Thank you. So we were told that the government would make use of its foreign asset reserve, which it could sell if the need arises, to counteract the effects of the sovereign debt. So the question I have is, there is a risk of rising borrowing costs and rising yields on Japanese government bonds, which could be quite risky for US investors. What is the government doing to counteract that?
That's why the Japanese, Japanese and all the Japanese government is trying to pass the tax and social security integration reform. Of course, we see that increasing sovereign debt very serious. So under the program, we mentioned that the increasing tax revenue is very important. So my answer to your question is that that's why the current administration is trying to pass the law for reform of the tax system.
Also, just another follow-up question, not exactly related, but would you be able to elaborate on the financial incentives that the speakers were talking about?
Incentive for?
financial incentives, non-tax related financial incentives for startup businesses or new US businesses.
Yes, sort of differences between domestic company and foreign company?
Yes.
No differences. Zero tax, zero corporate tax incentive is applied to equally to foreign company and domestic country. There's no differences between two sides.
But I'd like to add that now METI is proposing a law to reduce the tax rate for overseas investment, particularly R&D and Asian headquarters. And the House of Representatives passed it, but it is now under the discussion of House of the Councillors. So in such a case, there is a discriminatory preference for foreign investment to Japan.
Okay. Thank you very much.
There is no such country in the world as a government to give such a preferential tax rate.
I'm afraid you have still a lot of questions, but because of the time constraints, we are closing this Q&A session. But you can ask some questions during the intermission. And I'm proposing to resume our conference at 3:55 in 10 minutes. So thank you very much.